All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are joining us, and kindly welcome to Afric 24-hour TV. This is our daily political show, a talk show, a show that comes on your screen every day to give you an opportunity to interact with what is happening in Africa. We connect you with the political happenings and try to connect you from across the entire world. That is what we do here at Afric. So karibuni sana, and if you're joining me for the first time, kindly ensure that you do subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is Afric 24-hour TV. Of course, we are live on all our channels. That is YouTube, Facebook, and also live on our X handles. So let me know where you are joining us from, your views, your comments, and your questions. So you can do this using the comment section there. Do engage with us on the comment section there from wherever you are. I use the comment section, and if you also want to join the studio and be part of this conversation, you can do so by using the link that I've shared on the comment section. Join the studio and be part of this conversation. So before we start our conversation today, of course, we are still looking at the effect of the Gen Z demonstrations or the protests or the Gen Z revolution, as we expect to see some demonstrations tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday, 16th. And of course, the youth or the young generation within the country have said that to push for better leadership, they are going to continue occupying the streets in the major towns and cities or in the major villages until the last stone is turned. And their last stone is that they are not stopping at anything, but they want to ensure that William Ruto exits office. That is why they are having the calls of Ruto must go. So this one comes even after the demonstrations that have been seen in the last 2 weeks. So some radical changes take place in government. That one, so the president did dissolve the entire cabinet. Apart from that, people also called for the resignation of the Inspector General of Police, that is Justice Japhet Kome, who did resign yesterday. But the youths have said they're not stopping there. They'll only stop once the entire leadership has been dissolved and the president has resigned from office. So whether the president will resign, that one is a matter of time. And people have got different views. The people who feel that the president should resign, and the people who feel that the president should complete the term that he was duly elected to complete. So among other things that have been happening in this country, of course, we are also going to update you on what is taking place currently. Like today in the country, we saw some strikes that we can call the curtain race at what is going to happen tomorrow. The strikes of the Uber or the digital Uber drivers. I think they're striking because of the business conditions are not favorable. So they are trying to voice their demands through the streets. We also saw, you see this, the streets were quiet as people could not be able to order Uber and the bulk that people have been ordering, simply because the drivers decided to picket. Apart from that, there are also some new revelations of the NARC report. Remember, NARC report that was drafted at the Bomas, that is last year, after the demonstrations that were called by the Azimio leaders on the cost of living, among other things like the IBC. They had some 7 or 9 point agenda that were agreed on. So there are some reports that are coming that the NADCO report might have been drafted so that it can be able to maybe take care of the political class. It was about sharing positions and such kind of things. So we're also going to look into that. And, you know, tomorrow's strike, of course, is going to form the major conversation today, because we are anticipating and trying to get to know what is going to happen tomorrow. As Gen Zs are really positive that their effort has not gone in vain, because they can see some of the changes that are being done. And this one has also brought us back to politics. When you're now going to look at the politics of loyalty, we are seeing the reunion between the president and the deputy president. Previously, before the strikes, the deputy president and the president were speaking different language. These guys were like antagonizing each other. But recently, after the dissolving the cabinet, we see them having or sharing platforms and attending same events. That is what was seen yesterday and today when they were in the county of Nakuru on a development tour. So as we continue this conversation, I'm joined by Santaz Mogare. Of course, he is part of the panelists that is going to help us take or move this conversation to the next level, as we are also going to engage you to get your opinion and your views on what is happening, please. So before we proceed, let me allow Montaz just to say hello to our viewers as we welcome them to today's talk show. I know people are waiting for me to say something about the Quary killings. Of course, it is still sad. Kenyans are still mourning, and we are in disbelief of what has happened. Several bodies belonging to and assorted ladies have been found packed in sacks and thrown in a dump site in a quarry over there. And today the DSI did tell us that they arrested the prime suspect who confessed to have killed 42 since 2022. So the questions Kenyans are asking today: where has the DCI been for those years? Because this person have been there killing for how many years? 2-3 years, dumping them in the same place. But DCI have never heard of it, only for them today to tell us that they've taken them 48 hours to unearth this person. So that kind of theory is what have left many Kenyans with different opinions. Of course, we are going to look into that. So Santaz, before maybe I play them a video of the DCI telling us the details of the person who is who is suspected to be behind the killings, just say hello to our viewers and welcome them to today's conversation. Karibu sana, Santaz.
Hello, thank you, Leo, and thank you for the opportunity you have granted me at this our Afric 24 TV, so that we can cover upcoming issues within that affects us within and without. I want to again thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here today. It has been a week full of ups and downs, but we thank God that we are here today. For wherever you are watching us from, you are listening us from, continue being in touch with us as we look into details of what is really happening in Kenya and the whole world, what is affecting each other in this our village community, improved by technology and brought down because it has been made us a one family. Leo, because when you look at the youths of today, actually they are the pedagogue of the entire political sphere. They are the players, and the Gen Z effects can be clearly seen from far. And I think what they are doing, they are bringing positive change to the communities and making home a better place than they found it. I want to also say it's a bad state of affairs for our nation because of the massacre and the mass killings that Quary. And there are a lot of questions you can ask yourself of how this happened and why did it take too long to discover this. Leo, as you take us through this, I want to thank you. Wherever you are, let's be in this together, share our links, and then we can bring up the discussion as broad as it should be. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you so much. Let me just play the video of what is so critical, like what has shocked not only Kenya but the entire country, and people asking, are these political killings? Is it maybe a political massacre? Is it some sort of a cultism, people trading in maybe human body parts and something like that? Because I remember some time back we had the Shakahola massacre, whereby several Kenyans lifeless bodies were found in Shakahola, hundreds of them, and it hasn't settled. I think maybe the recent time that Kenyans did hear of this kind of things is when somebody who self-proclaimed to have killed several in the name of Onyancha. I think you still remember the story. That is when Kenyans got to realize that, okay, there's some cultism of things like that. But Onyancha did revealed that he was in some rituals and believed that if he kills so many and drink their blood, then he will be rich. So we have so many theories. So we're having so many questions that we need to ask as a country. That could it be that this one is some political massacre or something like that, or could it be that we are having some people who are doing some rituals, or people who are in sort of some cult? But all the questions, the buck still lies within the director of criminal investigation, because whether it is a cultic event, or it is some spiritual, or some people trying to do some things that are maybe we can say they are in some sort of worship that I don't know how to describe. But our DCI has got a responsibility to ensure that life of every Kenya is protected. So this one includes ensuring they need to be able to know who is doing what at what time. So you cannot tell me that 40 Kenyans can be killed and you wait for it to happen, somebody to come and maybe confess that I've been doing this one from 2022, and dumping them in the same place. Remember, in that place, we are having our intelligence, we are having the police officers there, we are having the police station next to the place. So this is something that cannot just be happening. Then the DCI fails to understand. So if you can tell me that 42 Kenyans can lose their lives without the police, whose real mandate is to ensure that we are safe, are not aware, then how many lives are being lost there? So it means enemies or the Al-Shabaabs or the terrorists can just get into this country without these people being aware. 42. We are not talking of one life. We are talking of 42 lives. These are families. These are people's daughters. These are people's wives. These are people's sisters. And these are people's parents. So we cannot just dismiss it like that. So I want us to listen to some of the explanation that was given by the DCI director when he was giving a state address on the suspect who he said confessed to have done the killings. I want us to listen to that, and we'll be able to weigh on it and see if really we can buy this kind of maybe information, or tuipuzilie mbali. Sorry, I'll get the sound.
Many transactions were conducted on the very day Josephine went missing. Our officers to his single room rental house in Quary, which is located about 100 meters from the crime scene. SIM card holder with new SIM cards. 8 smartphones and 2 feature phones. 2 flash drives and a memory card. Much that we use to dismember the to show this very shortly, similar to the ones that were half the bodies down. Pair of identity and 2 ID cards for women. 1 pink female handbag, 2 pink female panties, 5 rolls of cannabis sativa, 4 huge clear, some of which were recovered at the scene. So these ones are similar to those ones recovered from the scene. We also recovered 1 reflector jacket, 2 title deeds. On interrogation, the suspect faced to have lured, killed, and disposed 42 female bodies at the dumping site, all murdered between us last day, 11th of 2024. Unfortunately, and this is very sad, the suspect alleged that the victim was his wife, namely Imelda Judith Halenya, whom under disposing it.
Connection is responsible for that. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. And I told you, if you've not subscribed to our channels, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, so that whenever we're having these kind of conversations, we'll always ensure that you get notified and you participate in these wonderful conversations. So let me start with you, Mongare. You've listened to the DCI boss, that is Amin. So what do you take on that? Do you think that is being sincere, or the narrative that is telling Kenyans and the person who've been arrested? Does it resonate with you, or you think that there's something that you're not being there's something you're not being told? Are you satisfied with the information that was delivered, or you feel that there's something that is not, like, something that is kept away from us?
Leo, actually, as a Kenyan, it feels bad losing a Kenyan. As a Kenyan losing, especially our ladies, it feels it's bad. It's bad to lose a life, and when you can clearly see the details of this murder, you can say it's a person who had an intention, a certain intention, because there is a sequence in the way the killings were being done, and in the way they were being dumped. Because when you get that 42 people can be killed, and nobody, not even a person passing by, can notice, then that's a well orchestrated plan, which you can say the killer must have had much about it. And as we leave to our investigation officers to do the job of bringing all the whatever happens on board, but we must say that we really need to take a step, especially in our forces and in our security. Most of the time, this is not the first case we get to see these mass killings. We recently had the Shakahola massacre. We have had the Philip Onyancha cases. We had so many cases about this same thing. And Leo, mostly many people say it's a ritual, but these people have been taken to court, and the courts have never really come out and say this case went this way.
I get you. Can you just get closer to your microphone, maybe? Yeah, I think you are getting disconnected at some point. So just get closer to your microphone. I cannot hear you.
Do you get me now?
Now get you. You're loud and clear. So proceed. I can get you. Also receive greetings from Goodia. He calls himself Gypsy Corner. Gypsy Corner, karibu sana. The name tags are there. I know you've not yet mastered the name of my guest, but I'll get you an opportunity to be able to read. He's called Mongare, Honorable. Yeah? He's a Gen Z who dared to vie for a member of county assembly seat in Yamira township to challenge the status quo. So when he speaks as a Gen Z, he offered himself as an alternative for selection, though the people of Nyamira Township did see him fit. But I believe, inshallah, moving forward, people are going to change their views on how they maybe vote and elect people. So, Mongari, you can proceed.
Leo, thank you, Leo, for the compliment. It's clear that I'm going to be the next MCA Township Ward, God willing, that's in 2027. And I think I'm on the right track. I vowed, I did everything, and people really supported me. And as we forge forward, God willing, all shall be possible. I was talking about the massacre that happened at Quary. When you clearly look at the killings, it's a sequence that of a killer who knows what exactly is doing. And for so long, we have had so many cases of the same. We had Philip Onyancha, we had we have had some of the Shakahola massacre. And Leo, the problem we have is after all this had happened, we have been shocked with the killings. Where does these people go to? Because after being taken to court, how does the cases end? I think we need to be clear on those people who kill others, if whether it's a ritual or for any other reason. There's no any other reason a person can kill another person, because all lives are very important. I wanted to talk about the DCI, the director of investigation, is carrying on his investigation. I want to comment and say that we really need to look at our security as the first priority, because you can't tell me, Leo, somebody can go ahead and kill 42 people, 42 lives, yet nobody notices it. And I think if
the same person can kill 42 people, 42 lives, not in a single day, maybe not in a week. You said you've been doing it in 2022. He did it in 2023, and now he did in 2024. The bodies have been recovered. The person stays next to where he claims to be dumping the bodies. He's aware because he's having a computer and he's having some how do you call them? I don't know how you call these other phones that you call. Okay, there's some digital gadgets that he can be able to read and maybe see news, and he knows everybody is over there, but he still comfortably stays next to that dump site. So how possible is this?
That's the question. That's the question, and that's the big question we should be asking ourselves. And the other question is, the relative or close people of those deceased, had they ever raised
and the
the complaint?
haven't reported that their people have been lost, because since 2022 we would have seen maybe some reports on people who are missing and something like that. This person is said to have confessed that he started by killing his wife. But was this wife not having a family? Was the wife not having relatives to go and give report that, you see, our daughter is lost, our daughter is killed? Haven't we seen a case being taken to court? Okay, I know there are some things that aren't adding up, but these are cases that is maybe in the process of investigation, but we still have, maybe we need to ask some questions, some leading questions that can either confirm that we're satisfied with what we're being told, or we need to try and speculate. We only speculate because we're not given full information. But had we been given some satisfying information, then we won't be speculating. So as we move on, allow me to bring in Mr. Kimanzi. I can see he's also there. Though Kimanzi, I don't know why you're in darkness. I can't be able to see your image. Just own up that you are England fan, and we warned you that Spain is going to take this thing, not because we hate anything British, because they did participate in brutally colonizing us, but it was quite evident that there was nowhere your Zaka, my Zaka of course, was going. So karibu sana Boni, hautuambie uliko vipi? Mama Dago anasema aje? Naona Nairobi sio kuzuri. Naogopa I might come and the next day they get me in a sack. Right, proceed.
Oh, thank you, Afric 24. Thank you, Leo. And to take just a glimpse on what happened yesterday about football. I know, Leo, you are so disappointed about yesterday, but I never said that I'm supporting England. I said I'm supporting Spain for a long time. I've been supporting Spain. So I don't know why you are saying I'm supporting England, and a big fan of Spain. Well, I was so
I want to
disappointed.
get in an argument with you. Goodyear is on the comment section. I think you'll be the judge. My stand was known when we began the Euros. Of course, I didn't make any comment concerning the Copa America, but I was so specific when Euros began, despite the fact that Spain did not start with the high spirit. I'm sorry, my viewers, that we are veering off the political part of it, but we also have politics when it comes to football. So anyway, Boniface, you can proceed and tell us, are you satisfied with the information that the DCI Director General gave us? They arrested a 33-year-old man, and some of the information that we have outside there is telling us that this gentleman is a graduate from, is it which university? I don't know, it's Meru or whatever. I graduated there, and he does some marketing with a certain company. That is what I saw in LinkedIn. Though I'll be able to revisit and try to, as we are trying to know the identity of the person. But are you satisfied with what the DCI said, and do you think we are safe?
Well, I want to say about this situation that is happening in our country, that this is a serious matter in our country, and as our security said, then I will not agree. Personally, I've been seeing what is happening online. People are saying that they're not agreeing with what is being said there. Like, this is something that is scripted. Again, I have seen something on social media, but let me just verify the information, then I'll bring it here in Afric 24, because something is still circulating in the social media, so I will see on what to do. But this is a sad situation. What happened in Mukuru kwa Jenga, seeing girls being robbed in those sacks, it's so sad. And also, we need to make sure our security is very tight in our country, because we have a lot of insecurities in our country. That's why a lot of people are dying. People are just having problems in the areas that they live. It's like our security is so relaxed. So I think then the acting IG should just act immediately and make sure people are safe, because the citizens of this country are the ones who runs the country. It is not the government. So it is the mandate of the government to make sure that security is well enhanced. But I feel so bad of what happened in Mukuru kwa Jenga. Same thing happened last year, where we saw Shakahola. Now we have Mukuru kwa Jenga massacre. So what is happening? Every year, are we going to have this kind of a situation every year, that people are dying unknowingly, people are just suffering? So what is happening? And we have the government that should just protect the people. I think this is a serious matter that should be taken into consideration by the acting government. The government. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Boniface Mwangi. Of course, if I can be able to, thank you, Gypsy Connor, for confirming that I was paying from the word go. Sorry, I get it there. You're not Boniface Mwangi. Okay, let me make it clear. You know, Boniface Mwangi is not a Gen Z, but he's the one who is coordinating the Gen Z. I don't want to get into the Gen Z politics. I'll give it to the panel to discuss it. So that is what is happening on the killings. I know we cannot discuss much of that because it is a case that is under investigation. So we allow the relevant bodies that are mandated by Constitution to do their work. Then after that, we'll be able to maybe give our views on it later on. I just want us to get straight. We are looking at some of these effects, Boniface. when the youth, majorly the Gen Zs and the millennials and the Generation X, the ones who feel that what is happening in the country is not right, decided to go on the street demanding, maybe giving the government some demands. The first demand was that the government to drop the finance bill 2024, something that the president did take it back to the parliament, of course, and advised through the memo that all the clauses be deleted in totality, though the parliament is supposed to look for some legal ways of ensuring that, okay, that thing is arrested. Having known that it's a matter of fact that a bill, once it has passed the third reading, yeah, that stage you cannot be able to withdraw it. Even Kimani Korea, the mover himself, cannot be able to withdraw the bill. But there are so many ways that the parliament can allow the bill to die a natural death. We are yet to see that, because already, despite the fact the president went ahead and signed the appropriation bill, allowing him to spend the money, but he did not sign the bill that allowed him to collect that money. I'll try get the audience of Wakili Kennedy Abuya to come and maybe clarify to us eventualities, maybe what can happen after that. That one was done. Secondly, people demanding the president to dissolve the cabinet, of which he honorably did. Another demand was that Jafeth Kome, that is the Inspector General, resign or be fired because of his role in the brutal killings that was witnessed when Kenyans were lawfully demonstrating. That happened. You people, I know, Mongari, you understand politics and the laws of power. You know what is happening currently is that the more the president implements, the more the demands increase. So, do you think it is fair for the president? Because people, you wanted me to do away with the finance bill. I removed it. You talked of dissolving the parliament. I obeyed that. You talked of the IG. The IG is no longer there. Now you are coming up with the demands after demand. So if I fulfill this, another demand comes. Is this or not too much for the president? Mongare, I'll get your view. Being a Generation Z, why are you giving the president this much pressure?
The president has to be given much pressure because he is somebody who must be pressured to bring results. He is somebody we have known for all this long, and he's somebody we know. Without the pressure, he can't do whatever he has promised. Do you get me, Leo? Are you getting me?
Hear you. I can hear you. So just proceed. I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Our president is somebody we have known for long, from since the days of Kanu 92, and is a person who uses who thrives in chaos. He thrives in chaos because uh, he knows how to use chaos as an opportunity. When our president was campaigning against the referendum, he went against the masses and stood for no. He's a person who knows how to thrive through fight. So we as the people, as the young generation, will say that we can take on the president, and we must do the right thing. The right thing is we must concede to our demand. We must concede to what the young people think, because when he was riding on the hustler narrative, it is the young people who came out in large numbers and supported the narrative. It is the young people who marketed the hustler nation in all the social media platforms and made this thing a big wave that gave him the president. Once as the president, we must he must account for the promises he made to us during the campaign. He must deliver on his promises to the youth of job creation. You know, today, for so long, the president has been neglecting the voice of the people. But you saw today, he brought back the Kazim Tani job, which he will be starting from next week. What is this telling you? This is telling you that as much as EDF as dictatorial as he is, he must humble himself and look at the ways of creating jobs and turning this country. That's why, by bringing in Kazim Taani, the young people will be engaged and at least will be earning some token, as it was by the regime of Uhuru Kenyatta and Mwai Kibaki at some point. So the president, as he concedes, he knows he's doing the right thing. As he is looking for a new team to build this administration, he knows he's doing the right thing. Yet, if allowed and given some comfort time, he will neglect because he's a person who knows how to give excuses. Most of the manifestos will go unfulfilled because William Ruto will come back to the people with excuses.
Sometimes, me, I can hear you, not that clearly, but I hear the people who are not able. I don't know if you are using the microphone. Maybe you can just use it without the microphone, or you can move without the earphone. Sorry, you can move closer to your gadget so that you can be a bit clear. Though I can hear you hardly, maybe because of the speaker that I'm using or something like that. But some guys are not able to get you clearly. So kindly do that as we proceed with the conversation. Thank you.
That's why I'm saying, are you getting me right now?
Yes, kumbe uko na sauti.
Yes, that's why, Leo, thank you. But I'm seeing my brother Kimanzi, his mic is muted.
It's okay. It's okay. You know what we normally do, Kimanzi, I think, is just a disciplined guy. What we normally do, like when I give you the mic to speak, other people normally mute so that we don't get that background sound. So he's okay. And maybe while in the studio, if maybe you want to communicate with somebody who is within the studio, you can use the private chat there. We'll be able to see if maybe you have a concern. And if you want to communicate with the viewers, then we are having the comment section there. So when you use the comment section, it is public. But when you use the private chat, like right now, the three of us are the ones who will be able to see it. So you can just proceed.
Thank you, Leo, for the opportunity. I was saying that the Gen Z, the young people, have really are determined to change this country for the better. For the better, because we know the president who is in power is the president who rode in the narrative of the hustler nation to look for votes in the last 2022 general election. He's a person who knows how to give excuses when it is time to give excuses. Because we are seeing a trend whereby the president is going to come back to the people to say that we didn't build this road and this road because the 50 million was allocated in the finance bill 2024-2025 was never passed in parliament. The president we know is a president who, if not held accountable, will not fulfill the promises of creating jobs to the young people. He really promised a lot of jobs during his campaigns. The bottom economic agenda is not really working because it was just a rhetorical story, and now the president doesn't want question. We have heard rumors before that the president has so many advisors, but it is the president who advises the advisors, which is true because you can see the happenings recently. William Ruto promised to give Kazim Taani, to bring back the Kazim Taani jobs back to the people, to the young men and women. This is clearly shows that it was a wrong move for him to withdraw this Kazim Taani by saying that it's a waste of money, it's a waste of public money. Yet he didn't know that President Uhuru Kenyatta was stemming these young people by keeping them busy in community projects, which was a really working project. And by the end of the day, they were to get something. They were to get something at their pockets, which will keep them busy. The reason you are seeing this unrest is because the young people are jobless. They don't mind protesting the whole week because they lost nothing. So the demands will continue piling up until the president decides that he is going to run a transparent government, until a government of accountability will be experienced in this country. We as young people, we never believe in backing up. We are fighting him. We are holding the bull by its horn. Thank you sana leo.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Of course, I like the part that you're saying you're holding the board by its own, and it's a matter of time. Let us see if this movement is going to sustain itself or it's going to die a natural death. Because I don't know what I saw today. The president was in Nakuru on a development tour, and among the people who surrounded him were youth, of which I believe among them are the ones you see calling themselves Gen Z. And the president started selling a narrative that they are foreigners who are being used and to destabilize the country and maybe lead the country to energy. And he did pose a question to these youths that mutakubali watu kutoka nje wakuje watuharibie nchi na fujo and such kind of things. And it seemed people were in agreement with the president that these kind of things are just causing chaos, confusion, and maybe dragging our country towards lawlessness and anarchy, things like that. So that's why I'm saying we are just giving it a matter of time. We don't know if such narratives and the tribal and politics of interest is going to be used to neutralize this noble action. It's a matter of time. So, first, maybe to get it from you tomorrow, there are some demonstrations that have been staged, despite the fact that the president has been responding positively. What is it that people still want the president to do? He fired the cabinet, he fired the AG. So, what else do people want the president to do? Can't he be given like time now to breathe a bit and reconstitute a new cabinet, and we see if things are moving forward? Because remember, for the last 3 weeks, President Ajasafiri Mumekachinda, you've made it impossible for the president even to go and visit Suluhu here in Tanzania or visit Museveni. He haven't been flying, and that is so abnormal ever since he took office. He used to fly like on a weekly basis. The president doesn't attend events. Boniface, mbona hivyo?
Yeah, I have seen the Gen Z revolution is now making sense in our country. Again, the Gen Z are asking a lot of things from the president. I think number one, where the Gen Z made a very good decision is just to pull it down some of the demonstration and also making sure that the demonstrations that are happening in our country are peaceful. The president responded positively by dismissing the entire cabinet. Also, the IG resigned. So I think the Gen Z tomorrow they are planning to go in the streets. I don't know what is their plan, but they are just chanting that they need more. They need more when it comes to this government. They need William Ruto to consider them into this current government that is happening. But I think the Gen Z should give President time because he's a human being. He is a father of our nation, so he can still listen to what we are saying, and also he can consider all of the things that the Gen Z are saying. But again, this revolution is like they want everything to be done instantly. So I think he should be given time. Give President time. Give him to just know where he made a mistake. Of course, human is to error, but a mistake is not counted. A mistake is counted if it's repeated. So I think the president is aware. He will just try to involve all the matters that the G are representing. But concerning tomorrow, I don't know why they're going to streets, but maybe we'll know in the course of the day. Remember, in Afric 24, we keep you informed. Shall be telling you what is happening in our country, Kenya. But they're saying tomorrow tomorrow they are back on the streets. I don't know. The finance bill was withdrawn, cabinet dismissed, IG resigned. I don't know what is their topic tomorrow, but we'll know towards the end of tomorrow. Yeah, give president time. That is all what I can say.
Give president time. Goody is saying that, Leo, are you really saying that you trust Ruto? The guy is smart. He knows how to calm things down. But I think that is something that we need to appreciate the president. That's a rare character as a leader, a father of a nation like Kenya. You need to be able to balance the situation. As a parent, you need to know how to maybe control and manage your people. When things get hotter, you need to get ways of cooling it. So that is something that you also have to give it to the president. He knows how to buy time. He knows how to cool things. He knows how to create confusion and also come up with solutions. Like right now, the issue that was there between the president and the deputy president is no longer there. At some point, he appeases the opposition, and until you hear your Baba man saying that, okay, let us have a dialogue. At some point, he rubbishes such kind of thing. So he's a smart politician. That one we have to agree. But the question is, the Gen Zs are now calling for Ruto's ouster. Mongare, as a Kenyan patriot who believes in the rule of law, remember, we are having one of the most progressive constitution in Africa. Actually, I don't think there's any country in Africa that is having as progressive as our constitution. And the framers of our constitution did not foresee a situation whereby the president can be ousted through what is called a civic coup. And that is why when they spoke of circumstances under which the office of the president can be vacant, they talk of natural circumstances such as the death, God forbid. They talk of president resigning voluntarily. They talk of impeachment, which can only be done by the legislature, that is both the National Assembly and the Senate. And they also speak of insanity. When the president becomes insane, that one is a matter that has to be proved by medics beyond reasonable doubt, or the president is incapacitated. He cannot be able to perform his duties. And in all these circumstances, when the office of the president remains vacant, it is the deputy president whom they get elected with together who resumes office and serves the remaining term. Unless both the office of the president and the office of the deputy president, which is one office, but constitutionally they operate separately, when they all fall vacant at the same time is when we can go for what is called a by-election after some 60 days. But if any of them is available, we're not going for that by-election. So when people call for the president to resign, and it means if the president resigns, we are going to have the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, as the president. And if maybe something happens that the president is pushed out of office, people maybe occupy the state house and such kind of thing, which is a civilian coup. It is within the constitution, but it is hidden, because when you look at the Article 1, talking of we the people, we have the sovereign power that we exercise directly or either indirectly by maybe giving mandate to the elected leaders. So if people occupy state house, then it means they're withdrawing that sovereignty from the president, and they now have an opportunity to exercise it directly. So shall that one happen? And you've heard these people, you people saying that, you see, we Gen Zs, we are leaderless, we are formless, we are faceless, we are partyless, tribeless, and such kind of things. So who becomes the head of state? Because there was no way we are going to, I listened to Miguna talking of how they are going to form an independent body to conduct elections, which is not within our constitution. There's no way Mongare, you and Miguna will sit down and form a commission to inquire on anything that is unconstitutional, unless we decide to suspend the constitution. So at the Gen Z is telling Kenyans that we need to suspend the constitution, we become lawlessness, we become uncontrolled, and we go, last time I talked of it, people say that I don't need to give an example of Libya, but a matter of fact is that what we see in Libya, what we see in Sudan, what we see in the neighboring country, Somalia, was because of what we are seeing currently, whereby the heads of state who are legally elected, constitutionally protected, were forced out of office and they left that vacuum, then people now started fighting to occupy the offices because they were disorganized, they did not have leaders. So now everybody wants to occupy that office. It brings civil unrest. You'll find we'll get and start fighting among each other and get destabilized. And the worst thing is that once you go that way, it's hard. When you look at the precedents, no country has gone that way and stabilized immediately. It's hard. It's hard. So what are you people advocating for?
Thank you, Leo. It's true you are saying that we are a country of law, governed by a constitution that was fought for. And I want to thank the people who fought for the constitution, because if not them, then today we could not be having this freedom of picketing and demonstrating as much as we want. As much as we know that getting William Ruto out of office is beyond our efforts, we know that William Ruto will concede to our demands, because we know how to treat smart politicians, because we are a smart generation. The millennials or the people older cannot deal with William Ruto because they cannot trace his lies. But sisi tunamwonea 18, and we are saying that whatever William Ruto is doing in forming the new coalition government is also malicious if not taken into kin, because he has gone ahead and brought in Raila Amolo Odinga so that he can try to cool down the protests. And we are watching him from 18. We know his malicious moves. So Leo, when we are demonstrating, we are putting nail the coffin, because we are insisting on what we want. We are insisting and demanding that whatever it takes, we must have what we demand for. Our rights were fought for by the people who were before us. And now it's our time as young people to stand up against impunity and conmanship. For so long, the Kenyan politics has been full of lies and false promises. But for the first time, we are going to hold the president accountable. And this thing is going to trickle down to county levels. Already in Yamira tomorrow, we are going to bring home one Amos Nyaribo, our governor, because of incompetence, corruption, and underdevelopment for the last 20 or 15 years of devolution. We have never benefited. And it's the young people, the Gen Z, who have realized that our future lies on what we do today. Our future lies on going to the streets tomorrow, occupying all offices, and getting out all incompetent leaders. That's how we'll secure our future as young people. Because, Leo, honestly, we can't suffer at home and away from home. We must choose one place to suffer from. So as much as we have held the president accountable and as much as he is under pressure to deliver to us what he promised us, we are still pressing on. We are pressing on to county levels, to MCA, up to ward levels. We are going to push everything with whatever we have at our resolve to make sure those roads that are within the villages are made. Those lights that should be in our urban centers are on maintenance and are on board. We are going to make sure that even the contracting, the tendering processes are open, because Lord, there's no need. You get elected and you get an allocation of 9 billion, 7 billion in a financial year, yet there's no accountability or nothing to show it. We are not going to sleep on the job anymore. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Of course, that is great. I can see Kijana Town, and news reaching me is that the Ford Foundation have denied sponsoring the Gen Z, And in a statement, they've said they've disassociated themselves. Remember, today the government did say that the Ford Foundation, which is an NGO, has been sponsoring the Gen Zs. And in their statement, this is what they wrote, that since 1963, the Ford Foundation has a rich history of commitment to ensuring the independence of East Africa's democratic institutions. This includes our support for civil servants and technical experts who helps establish independent Kenya, supporting the growth of educational sector and the work of Kenyan government and its diverse civil society. We retain an ongoing commitment of supporting work in support of Kenya's development and Kenya's leadership on an African and global stage, exemplified by our support of the inaugural African Climate Summit held in 2023 Nairobi and Kenya's current leadership as co-chair of the Open Government Partnership. While we acknowledge the right of Kenyans to peacefully advocate for a just and equitable country, we repudiate any actions or speech that hateful or advocate violence against any institution, individuals, or community. We do not fund or sponsor the recent protest against the finance bill and have a strictly non-partisan policy for all our grant making. So that is from Ford Foundation. They were accused of sponsoring the Gen Z, but they've said no, they're not sponsoring the Gen Zs. So I don't know who is sponsoring the Gen Z. Maybe Kijana ya Town will tell us. Kijana ya Town, karibu. SG, you can unmute and proceed. Boniface, am I clear? I don't know why Kijana Town is not getting me. I don't know if I'm the one who is not audible.
You are audible. You're audible. 100%.
I think his connection. So SG, maybe you can just connect and maybe get back and proceed. So earlier, Boniface, they said that this organization called Ford Foundation is the one that is sponsoring this Gen Z demonstrations, but they've said they don't sponsor this demonstration. So do you think there is somebody or there's an organization that is sponsoring the demonstrations in Kenya? Ama hii ni porojo too?
Well, I know many things have been said according to the ongoing demonstration in our country, but this Gen Z are only using social media to have meetings and also to organize themselves. I don't agree with what is being said in the country, that there are some group of people who are sponsoring the demonstration. So this organization, I know they have done nothing to sponsor these demos. I heard today President saying that they are the people who are sponsoring the Gen Z, but you can see all over the country we have the demonstration ongoing. Nairobi, Mombasa, the big cities, and even Ukambani, and also parts of Western, Northeastern, they have joined to a demonstration. Every person in the country is feeling the weight, is feeling the burden of high cost of living. So if we have too much and tell the government that we need the cost of living to be lowered, then every person will go to the streets. So I don't think whether the organization is the one responsible for this demonstration, because the Gen Z move through use of social media. They just use internet and their phones to have meetings. That is where they talk. You know, when they post, then the poster will go viral, and that is where people just know that tomorrow are you going to the streets. So I don't agree with the information that was said, that the Ford is the one that is sponsoring the Gen Z demonstration. This is something that is happening countrywide, not an organization that is sponsoring. So I disagree with those words.
So you don't think that they are the ones who are sponsoring the Gen Zs, though this is a communication that was given today that these demonstrations are not natural, but they did claim that the demonstrations are being sponsored by foreigners, and among the foreigners, they did single out and said this foundation called Ford Foundation is the one that have been sponsoring the demonstrations in Kenya, and they've been giving some grants to most organizations in Kenya, and these organizations are the ones that are causing stability that is being experienced. So Mungare, sorry, I hope you're back. When you are leaving, we just got some update that the Ford Foundation have denied sponsoring Gen Z demonstrations. Earlier today, it was said that they are the ones that have been sponsoring these demonstrations, but they've denied and disassociated themselves with those kind of demonstrations. They've said they are not sponsoring any demonstration in Kenya against anything, be it finance bill or William Ruto or something like that. So what is your take on that? Does the Gen Z need to be sponsored for them to do what they are doing?
That has been a belief with so many people, believing that the Gen Z are being supported or being funded by people. Even the president himself, William Ruto, doesn't believe that the Gen Z walk from their homes to change the country without being funded. You know, for so long, Leo, demonstration have been orchestrated by politicians, and for the first time in Kenya, you will see a demonstration even without any support from the politician. Is the Gen Z protests? So most of the politicians who from the past have been believing that there will be no demos without funding are in a limbo, are in a dilemma. They think that behind the scenes there are people who are behind these young people. This is what makes us think that we still don't trust William Ruto, because the president, as much as we decided that we'll have a dialogue, is still going on to call many of those who went to demonstrate at the parliament criminals. Is still not releasing those guys who have been abducted and are suffering in the hands of a police officer incommunicado. As much as the president is promising us dialogue, he should start by at least being compassionate of his promises and backing down and saying that now, since we are now in good hands, we have had handshake with the young people, I'll release all those who are in custody because of the demos. Those in abduction should be brought back to their families. At least that could have shown us that we are in the same page. But the William Ruto of today, the president that we know, is a person who can say this thing today and tomorrow you will see him change and you can't question him. The same way he did, he said that there will be no Harambees. There will be no Harambees to all public servants. Him being the #1 public servant should be an example to these other civil and public servants. But Leo, it's a shock that you saw yesterday, the president donating millions to build a church, yet is the same person. Is the same person who had said that there will be no Harambees from politicians or public service people. You know that this is why we call him a double speech president. It is not the first instance. We had seen him tell us during campaigns that while he was in power, that the cooking gas will drop from 1,200 to less than 500, and all of a sudden you will see him change, say that he said not the gas, it's the outer mtungi. So we are not new in Jerusalem, and as much as we accept that William Ruto is a smart politician, he has now found and is now dealing with smart kids also. Smart kids who can read and reread the moods and the plans of our president from a distance. That's why, Leo, you'll see the young people will still, and many people think that this thing will just end that way. No, this thing will not just end until change has been realized. We are the Dedan Kimathi of our time. We are the Jomo Kenyatta of our time. I remember even when those young guys who wanted to overthrow the government of Daniel Toroitich arap Moi during the 1982 coup, the likes of Ochuka, they were young, vibrant young people who decided that no, we can't go this way. We must bring change. So when we are fighting as young people, we should not be taken for granted because we are fighting from the spirit and we know what we are fighting for. Because incompetence has really led to the destruction of many lives, to the destruction of many development projects, to siphoning of money by public servants, and those people who feel they are more powerful than the others. Yes, Leo.
I get you well. I don't know if Kijana
Yeah,
can now be able to get. All right. SG. SG. Okay, I wanted to play another video of what William Ruto said today. So I'm still preparing it. Maybe Bonnie, if you have something to add, SG team is
What I
not
can
well.
say is
Maybe
that we need just to be serious with our country. We need to move forward as a country. Developments in our country are so poor. We need to match with the developed country by making sure that our developments, how we utilize our resources, how we maintain our country is top notch. Because as you compare South Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, we are far much behind. That is all what I can say about what is happening. Because this demonstration, of course, they are going to slow. They are going to slow development in our country because all the business tomorrow, if we have demonstration, then they are going to be closed. What does that mean? That we will be losing a lot of money in a single day. Let's say as 500 million will be lost in our country because of a demonstration, approximately. So if we lose those amount of money, then it means that we are not going to match with the developed and developing country. So we need to do what Kenyans are saying, make sure that whatever the grievances are given by Kenyans are adhered to, because you cannot just rule a country without people. It is people who are making sure that the government runs, because a government whereby we don't have taxpayers, then what are you going to do? You are not going to run the country. So they should just do what the Kenyans are saying, and I will be happy to see our country matching with the developed country. I will be happy to seeing our country development going ahead. For example, they have bid for 2027, but still we don't have I don't know whether we have money or not, but still we don't have stadiums that are ready for hosting AFCON. I have seen what happened in Malawi, the international stadium that is in Lilongwe that hosted the Harambees Stars has been banned by CAF from hosting international competition. Our country, Nyayo stadiums, Kasarani, in matters of sports, we are so far much behind. So these are the kind of developments that are used to weigh which country is developed. For example, in East Africa, we are so poor, manze, when it comes to this development. Let's match with the developing country. Let's develop Kenya. This is our country. When these two, when as Mungana said, when Dendan Kimathi, Field Marshal Mudoni, the likes of Tom Boya, the likes of Ronald Gala, when I read history, I always enjoy what they did, because I remember there is that time where the Europeans wanted to occupy a country, Kenya, and Kenya was just there, dark. There is an association that was known as the Young Kavirondo Taxpayers Association, together with the Young Kikuyu Association, and their main aim of formation of these two associations was to push this colony of people away from Kenya so that we can utilize our resources on our own. So the Kavirondo Taxpayers Association, they were just so rude. making sure that these guys will just go away from our country. So if we have the power now to rule our country, then why not? Let's do this. Let's bring back Kavirondo Taxpayer Welfare Association and the Young Kikuyu Association. You know, those are the, you know, there were those big tribes, those times. That is why we had a lot of associations in Kikuyu and also in Luo, without forgetting the Facing Mount Kenya book that was written by those guys. A bit of history. So I was trying to weigh on our development, because whenever I am around Nairobi, it's only around the CBD where we have a lot of development. Just move around the metropolitan, like Kitengela, then you know that that is a desert. Exactly, Chabi Desert. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Santos, I don't know what you want to say. I can see you smiling over there. And maybe if I just go through, I can see also Ruto doesn't trash them abroad like the Pandora Papers guy. Boniface Kimanzi used to be a Azimio. Why are you leaning towards Team Ruto? Stop changing your club, stick with Chelsea. That is a gypsy corner. Where does Ruto get 3 million he dishes out? Could it be taxpayers? Or Ruto should not be worrying who is sponsoring the Gen Z. What's the difference? The government gets sponsored by colonizers, but we don't complain. So, Mungare, what I say?
Yes, it's a good comment from Jeep's Corner. Ruto should not worry who is sponsoring the Gen Z. What's the difference? The government gets sponsored by the colonizers, but we don't complain. It's a good caption because the problem should not be who is sponsoring who. The problem should be is whatever they are asking, are they given? Is it constitutional? As if whatever we are asking for is unconstitutional, then William Ruto has all the right to shoot us down and chase us away from streets, from picketing and demonstrating. But since whatever we are fighting is constitutional, we never regret. We are not regretting. We don't. We are forging ahead. So that's our greatest motivation. Our greatest motivation as young people, as Gen Z, is whatever we are fighting for, the cause we are fighting for, it's constitutional and it's our mandate and it's our right to do so. Because the matter of sponsoring has given people they never sleep. They have lacked sleep because they are trying to think of who is sponsoring who and when, where, from who, and they are asking, why do these young people organize themselves in a way that they have doctors, they have soldiers who can guard them, they have ambulances. This shows you how well coordinated we can be when given a chance. Because Leo, you can attest that in many instances whereby you find young people coordinating to make an event happen, it has always been a success. That's why you get that for a long time, young people have been demeaned that they don't really participate in, especially in politics. But it's a shift of change. That's why I was comparing Kenya, the 2027 general election, to the United Kingdom. You saw United Kingdom, most of the Labour Party ministers were mostly Gen Zs, ranging from 26 years, 25 years, 28 years, and they are members of parliament representing their people. What does this show you? It's not only happening in Kenya. It's a revolution around the world that even the young people wanaweza, and given a chance, they can perform better and they can compete really better than any other people, like any other people. So as much as William Ruto wants to know where the young people get their money from, he should also tell us when is he going to fix our problems. Now I told you, and I think many will agree with me that the move of William Ruto bringing in Raila Amolo Odinga is one way, or is a scheme of trying to silence the young people. By bringing in Raila Amolo Odinga, Ruto is choosing fights with the young people, yet in consolidation with the Azimio people. He can't fight two wars or two fights at a go. He must choose his fights wisely. So instead of fighting Gen Z and fighting Raila at the same time, the president has opted going for Raila to bring him in as a friend, and then Raila and Ruto being friends, who they have been purporting to be for so long, then they will look for means on how to handle Gen Zs. But the disappointment to Raila Amolo is the Gen Zs have distanced themselves from his moves. That's why you saw yesterday he changed the tactics. That's why the other day he said the young members of parliament who had visited him at his capital hotel have told him, hawataki handshake. That's why you saw yesterday he changed the tactic and started calling for the resignation and sacking of Bungei. This is a political move to counter the Gen Zs. That's why I told you we are watching, and we'll keep coming up to the streets, demonstrate, until when our grievances are tabled down in a manner we know there will be no dialogue if already our young guys are in custody. That's for sure. And this will not stop the Gen Zs from protesting unless otherwise. And this thing will be on and on and on. And mind you, the power of the people should not be only in State House. We will do soft coup, a soft coup in a way that we will be demonstrating every day until William Ruto resigns. Thank you.
Question there. Awesome is asking you that Santas, what is the end game after the protest? Is it to remove Ruto?
Yeah, the end game is to remove William Ruto from office, but it has phases and stages. If William Ruto concedes and takes his administration serious, like he said yesterday, eti amefunguka macho, then good and well. If he means well for the people, good and well. He will fulfill his promises to us young people. But if William Ruto continues to abduct, to kill and to maim, if he continues with his obvious lies, then he will be seeing us on the streets daily until the roll shall call up yonder.
I think that is well received. Awesome, you've gotten it. You've told you that the end game is to remove William Ruto from office. That is why what they are saying currently is that Ruto must go. So Ruto must go simply mean they want Ruto to leave office. So maybe by resigning or something like that, the non-violent way, they want it to happen in a non-violent way and ensure that William Ruto leaves office. So Osama, I think, was in doubt the end game of the Gen Z movement or the protest, now that I told you the president has given in some of the demands. So now the remaining demand that they are pushing for is that they want Ruto also to leave that office. They wanted, they don't want to see anybody there. They want Ruto to be out of that office. I think that is well understood. I was working on a video, but it seems it's delaying. It's not getting ready quickly. Once I'll process it, I'll just be able to maybe to bring it on board. I wanted you to get some of the speech that was given by President when he was in Nakuru. Sorry. When the president was in Nakuru, he really spoke about some of the issues. I think I'm getting it now. It's okay. Shortly, I'll be able to play it.
Destruction of property and loss of life. Wale ambao wanasponsor hiyo violence, sisi tunawajua. And I want to call out those who are behind the anarchy in Kenya, those who are behind the sponsoring the chaos in the Republic of Kenya. Shame on them, because they are sponsoring violence against our democratic nation. Mimi nataka niulize watu wa Ford Foundation, watuambie hiyo pesa wanatoa ifanye fujo ndio wapate faida gani? We are going to call them out and we are going to tell them, if they are not interested in democracy in Kenya, if they are going to sponsor violence, if they are going to sponsor anarchy, we are going to call them out and we are going to tell them they either style up or they leave. Tunaelewana jameni ama tuelewani? Mnataka watu watununulie vijana ati wafanye fujo katika Kenya? Vijana sio wa kufanya fujo. Vijana ni wa kufanya kazi. Na hiyo ndio mpango tuko naye ya kupanga ajira ya hawa vijana. Wakati tunapanga ajira ya hawa vijana kwa affordable housing, tunapanga ajira ya hawa vijana kwa hii markets, tunapanga ajira ya hawa vijana kwa digital jobs, tunapanga ajira ya hawa vijana kwa mambo ya export of labor, tunapanga ajira ya hawa vijana kwa mambo ya manufacturing na mambo ya value addition na mambo ya industrialization. Kuna watu hawataki tupange vijana wafanye kazi, wanataka kupanga vijana wafanye fujo.
Yeah, that was the president. I think the message is clear, and he did mention Ford Foundation, of which Ford Foundation have come out and have said that they are not sponsoring any demonstrations in Kenya, and they've distanced themselves with that. Also, I'm saying that removing Ruto is a very difficult thing. If you can't wait until 2027 to remove him constitutionally, then stop crying that the youths are being killed. So, Boniface, do you think it is hard to remove Ruto the way Osam is saying that removing Ruto from office is being hard? And if you want him to be removed, you can't wait till 2027. Then you stop complaining that youths are being killed. Is it going to be easy to remove Ruto?
No, I think they should give time, President. So 2027. So you know, Ruto now has started listening to the public on what they are saying. So they wait for 2027 because we have the general election that is going to happen come 2027. So I think the voters there, they are going to determine who is going to be the next president. Yeah, I think it is only by voting where you can determine who is going to be the next leader of our country. Yeah, that is what I can say. But the president has shown interest of listening to the Kenyans. That is why you can see he has dismissed the entire cabinet. Also, he has made sure that the resources of the country are utilized in the right way. That is what he has been saying. Still, the IG has resigned. Still, he's saying that he's going to make sure that the next cabinet is going to be very competent, and also is going to make sure that the country is run in the right way. So I think the citizens of the country, that is Kenya, should give the president the right just a period of time, because is like now doing what the Kenyans are saying, and this is all what democracy means. You know, just do what the Kenyans want. That is all what you can just hear. But I can see Gibbs Icona say, "Please, Boniface, there's no time. Just imagine all Kenyans having the same attitude." No, but good year. I believe you are a human being. So William Ruto now doing this, still, I think he needs time. Everyone in this life deserves a second chance. That is my opinion. Yeah.
I wanted to listen to this member of parliament here.
And destruction of
That one,
property
I'm
and
sorry,
loss
I
of
could
life.
get it.
Wale ambao wanasponsor hiyo violence, sisi
It's not
tunawajua.
that one.
And I want to call out those who are behind the anarchy in Kenya, those who are behind
sauti ya wananchi, lakini ni lazima yawe ya amani. Tumeshuhudia katika maandamano haya wahalifu, wakora, waizi wameweza kutumia haya maandamano kuzuia watu kusafiri, kufanya biashara, kuuana, nyumba kutiwa moto na kadhalika. Ombi letu, tunataka amani idumu katika taifa letu la Kenya, na ikiwa wanaweza Gen Z kupeleka maoni yao na kukaribishwa na rais na kumwambia maneno wanayotaka, na ikiwa hawataweza kwa sababu wahalifu wamekuwa na nguvu, wamewashinda na kuweza kufanya uhalifu ndani ya maandamano, tungeomba ikiwezekana, ili kuepuka maafa, wakiweza kuondosha maandamano kwa ajili tu jambo moja, kuepukana na maafa na madhara yanayotokea.
Mwito wetu kwa hao vijana na wale ambao wako nyuma yao, hata wawe nani, waacheni kuvuruga nchi yetu. Nchi ikiharibika, nchi ikiwa imechomeka, nchi ikiwa imekuwa na fujo na balaa, hakuna atakayepata nafuu. Kwa hivyo mwito wetu, kila mtu, kila kiongozi aweke chini silaha yake, apewe nafasi mazungumzo. Muhimu mazungumzo. Ikiwa watu wanazungumza, wataelewana.
Sorry, that is the religious leaders are now telling people to keep off the streets. Santos, is this on the new tactics?
Yes, actually, the religious leaders have the mandate of bringing the country together in times of crisis, I think, and the religious leaders should be a medium between the church, the community, and the people within the community. It is good to see the church or a mosque trying to unite the people by calling off maybe the protests. But the problem is they are calling off the protest, yet they are not paying attention to whatever the protester wanted to achieve at the end of the day. Because when you see an oppressor raising his voice, that means that there is something that it's really itching him. So as much as the church, the mosque are trying to calm down the young people to stop going to street or calling off protests, they should also look to those who are accountable, who should be accountable on the demands and needs of the people. They should also tell those leaders that what these young people need is this one and this one and this one, and the only way to achieve it is by doing this and this. So the church should not be or the mosque should not be one-sided and oppressing or saying supporting one side and neglecting the other side. Both parties should come together. The church or the mosque should be a unifying factor. And Leo, I wanted to also comment on what the video you played before about our president talking about the sponsorship.
Yes.
This is what we call pretense or hypocrisy at some point, because if the president, the president was genuine enough, if the president was genuine enough to listen to our young people, he should not be riding on the story of being funded or this and this. He's hurting us the more. He's trying to tell us that we were wrong. He's trying to say that he was always right. He doesn't have empathy to back down and accommodate the views of the people. This is where we find a problem with the president, because he still thinks, as much as we shared some light moments on X space Twitter, he thinks that our grievances are over. We only highlighted our opinions, and not many of us really had an opportunity to do so. But when you see protests, especially the ones for tomorrow, the large numbers of young people turning out, that's a communication. That's a communication that, as much as we did the demonstration, we have not been heard. And the more the president is riding on the issue of being funded by blah, 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 yet the young people know that they were not funded by any firm or anybody, it only hurts more. It's just a motivation to keep on picketing, demonstrating, because the oppressor is showing his really signs that he doesn't care about those is oppressing. He doesn't care about the needs of those who are being oppressed, because these are young people on behalf of the many young Kenyans and many old Kenyans who are suffering because of the hard economic times, coming to the street to highlight what is really happening in the... But the president is behaving as if he is not caring. That's why you will see him issue threats. We have done a discussion. We have agreed that we are going to look onto this matter, but is there still not withdrawing his statements of calling young people criminals? Do you see the chances of him doing exactly what we need? Those are the questions we ask ourselves. As much as we have done the protest and he has sacked the ministers, he has done all this, he has sacked the resignation of many top government officials, is he doing this to achieve his political card? Maybe yes. The president is a smart president, as you called him. He may be using this crisis of protest from the young people to achieve his agendas of organizing his government the way he wants to, without even hurting those he has sacked. Yes? So the question of us is, we are asking is, how do we know that the move of the president saying that he's going to listen to us, is it a genuine move? If it is a genuine move, why is he so malicious, talking bad about the young people who were protesting? Why is the story of protesting giving him lack of sleep? Why is he fighting ghosts in the name of saying that there are some people who are funding the youths, who are doing this, Why doesn't he believe that the youths can stand up on their own? Does CNT trust us? That's my my point, sir.
I'll get response from Boniface, because we see now the religious leaders, that is the church and the sheikhs and imams, are being involved in this to try and cool down what the late Otieno Kajwang will say, cool down, to cool down the Gen Zs. Could it be that the president have realized that he tried reaching out Raila to cool down the Gen Zs, but the Gen Zs told Raila that no, what you need to do, Baba, kaa nyumbani, tuachie vita. Now we have seen the religious leaders are now being used to preach peace and tell young generation that, you know, there's always a chance. You can always have to speak about this thing and have a dialogue. Boniface, I don't know what your feeling is. What is your feeling? Do you think that these religious leaders are going to manage maybe to cool down the situation? Unmute.
I think the Gen Z are leaderless. So they don't have someone who's representing them. But again, you can see people are trying to come in between so that they can act as the leaders and also they can act as a controller. But still, the Gen Z are rejecting. They are not accepting an offer. So I think the movement is still going to continue because these people are saying they are representing the entire country. So they are there to show this country that we can just revolutionize and also come to this Gen Z revolution. We are moving on from the old generation to the Gen Z. So I don't think whether this one is possible. But if the country moves on into the right direction, then I'm very sure that the Gen Z will just be willing to give President time and also accept what is happening in our country. But the most important thing is country going into the right direction. The high cost of living being lowered. Anything that is acting as a burden to the citizen being swept away from the country. That is all what it entails. Public participation to be taken into consideration into the country. Any law that is being made, a lot of things, whatever Gen Z has said. And of course, I've read the manifesto, although it is not a manifesto, but the demands is actually one of the best because it is favoring any citizens of the country. Most important, the common mwananchi. Thank you.
So much. I also want you to listen to this. The politicians are also giving their views on trying to advise the president. So let me get it. I think I'm having it here.
Kuhusu bajeti hii kwa sababu now is under the hands of the National Assembly. Wananchi wako na nafasi ya kutuma maoni wao na deadline ni next week on Monday. Kwa hivyo tafadhali jisomee, jione, angalia vile jinsi inchi yako inaendeshwa na wacha maoni yako yasikike mahali ambapo yanafaa kusikiza. Maoni ya bajeti haitakuwa kwa barabara, haitakuwa kuchoma biashara za watu, haitakuwa kwa kuchoma mali ya watu, itakuwa kwa kufanya discussion mahali ambapo inastahili. Na nirudie,
I think you know the gentleman over there. He's trying to tell the president not to listen to the naysayers. Instead, the president should just get focused and do that which he feels is good for the country. Is that unnecessary at this time when people are mad at these MPs, specifically Kimani Korea?
It's for the president. For the presidency is a seat whereby you are a unity to every Kenyan. You are a symbol of national unity, and for the president, he has to be firm, as he representing the whole country, both the Gen Z, the young, and the old. And I think his motives should be before the decision has been made, the president needs to really sit down and get all the advisory, because the position of the president has the privilege of having the best advisors, the best economic advisors, the best advisors he can ever get are at the president's disposal. So, Leo, it's hypocritical to think that the president makes wrong decision, yet he is being given the best advisory teams in this country. That's why we all at most times tend to think that most of the president's moves are very intentional. They are intentional in the manner that as much as he is trying to blame the members of parliament for passing the finance bill that was punitive, we have seen him many instances holding the parliamentary group meetings at State House till late night discussing on how to draft the finance bill. He is part and parcel of all this, but because he is a smart politician, he escapes and leaves the members of parliament in hot soup in facing the people. Yet he redeems himself by calling himself the better option and sacrifices the members of parliament for his deeds. So that's why at most of the time we ask ourselves, is it
I think we lost you. I don't know.
that the president really never knew what was happening within or sorry
All right, it's okay.
the question you ask yourself is, did the president, was he intentional in doing this, or he really wanted to make the people suffer? Leo, these are the questions that at times makes us look at the president as a person who is intentional in what he does, but at times tries to divert the minds of Kenyans so that he can do whatever he wants at the peril of others.
I think Santos is having some problem with the connections, but he'll just get back. Boniface. All right. MPs wameanza kupiga kifua, wanaambia rais kuwa rais aendelee na kazi yake na asiweze kusikiza watu. Are they forgetting ama salamu za Gen Z ziliisha? Oh my goodness. Bonnie.
Yes.
You've heard that MP telling president aendelee na kazi yake. Ama hii sio ile kiburi yenye Wakenya walikuwa wanapiga?
Unajua the MPs wameanza kuongopa, wengine wanaomba mamsamaha huko kwa mitandao. You know, Kenyans, you know, when you realize that the mob is against you, then you have to adhere to what they are doing. The MPs have now started saying that they are sorry. Of course, I saw what even the former CS, Moses Kuria, was saying, that he regrets fighting with the Gen Z in the social media because they made him lose the job. So the Gen Z revolution is giving us very good results. That is all what I can say. Yeah, we are changing. We are changing from being dormant to being talkative. Being able to tell the government what you want. Being able to push the government so that we can be heard. I think this is the right move for the country, Kenya. That is why you can see even the Ugandans are copying what Kenyans are doing. I think it is a right move for the country, and also to make sure we are on the right track. Because every country wants to make sure that everything is in the right order. Same way Kenya is pushing and making things to be in the right way. That is what Gen Z are just doing. You know, they are amplifying voice for the voiceless.
I get you. I get you. All right. Tomorrow we are having a demonstration, of course, that has been planned by the Gen Zs. Boniface, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Maybe, what do you think? I know you are not aware of what is going to happen, but in your mind, what do you imagine is going to happen? Or what do you foresee?
Personally, I'll be in Nairobi. I'll be monitoring what is happening. So I'm waiting to see what is going to happen. But of course, it's like a peaceful demonstration. But I don't know the agenda. But I'll be there. I'll be listening carefully. I'll be following carefully in the streets of Nairobi. So tomorrow, I'll be following so that I can update Afric 24 followers on what is happening in the streets of Nairobi. So I'll be there following so that I can do the necessary. So maybe they are going to push for Gen Z to be included in the cabinet. Maybe they want to be featured in the ambassadorial opportunities. Maybe you want the government to lower the cost of living. Maybe, you know, those are just hypotheses. Yeah. Wait for the D-Day tomorrow to see what is going to happen.
So do you think, okay, they managed to occupy the parliament. Do you think they'll be able to occupy State House? Ama hiyo naye ni porojo?
Hiyo haiwezi. Sasa aje sasa. Si rahisi. Haiwezi.
How na waliweza kuingia parliament?
Haiwezi. Wewe ujue tu haiwezi. Aje sasa utaingiaje kwa State House?
They fear death.
Haiwezi.
Okay. Let us see and hope, but we pray that even as people demonstrate, let the demonstrations be peaceful, and at least people should not destroy other people's property. Just as youths are told that you only need to carry vuvuzela, dress in black and white, or carry Kenyan flag, na maji ya kunywa, then that will be good as a country, because as we demonstrate, we should not destroy that which our parents or which our fellow Kenyans have really sweated to build. It doesn't help. So we pray, as Kenyans are going to exercise their democratic right, of course, majority of Kenyans, not only the Gen Zs, will be on the streets demonstrating. And the police are also requested to restrain and avoid using excessive force, as what Kenyans are fighting for is not only is going to benefit the entire country. When we have good governance, the wages will be okay. The police will also have some better living conditions. Their houses will be well maintained and such kind of things. Bonfather, I hope that tomorrow we'll get in touch and pray that our country will not be burnt down, or our country is not going to be destroyed because of the demonstrations, but instead the demonstrations are going to ensure that we get a better country with a better leadership. So I think I just need to thank you guys for getting time even to have this kind of conversation, and welcome you that whenever maybe you're available, we can always have such kind of conversations, and as we try to look into what is happening in the country. I know there's a lot of discussions or conversation that is going on in X space and everywhere, where Kenyans are glued and they are trying to get a way forward. That now that the cabinet has gone, what happens next? Is the president going to get the right people for the job, or the president is still going to go for people who are loyal to him and such kind of thing? So, Bodi, maybe if you can be able to give your final remarks, I'll really appreciate.
Of course, thank you so much, Leo. Thank you so much, Afric 24, and of course, Mongare, who has just disappeared. This is a wonderful show. So if you're following from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, make sure you join our studio through the link that we always share. Remember to share our videos, subscribe, and also comment, share. Our brand ambassador, Leo, and also
Yes.
Goodia. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And of course, remember, when it comes to, I will always say, when it comes to sports, the big question that we are asking is, who is the next CS for the sports industry? Who is the next CS for the sports ministry after exit of Abab Namamba? So if you're following this conversation, join me tomorrow. We have a very special show for the Dimba Afric show. Yeah, so we are going to discuss more about the sports industry in our Kenya. Remember, we are congratulating the Spain, the boys from Catalonia, for winning the Euro 2024 17th edition. We are sorry for England and the entire Gareth Southgate squad for losing that final back-to-back bottling of the final. Of course, we refer Gareth Southgate to Arsenal, Mikel Arteta. That is where they lost Premier League back-to-back. So remember, football is the backbone that heals all your stress. We are waiting for the Premier League to launch come next month. We shall be there no matter what. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've not subscribed to our channels, kindly do ensure that you log in and subscribe to Africa 24-hour TV.
Power is transient, and the people of Kenya will overcome. We will not submit to your threats and blackmail. We will not bow to you. We will not worship you. We worship the living God in heaven. We worship no human being. But today, we face a clueless, rudderless, leaderless, planless, disorganized opposition. But today, we face a clueless, rudderless, leaderless, planless, disorganized opposition.
Have you taken enough?
Kenya's two big men stood there grinning, shoulder to shoulder, Odinga on the left, his bitter rival Kibaki beside him. enter the peacemaker, Koffi Annan, and then came the extraordinary handshake. It drew cheers, but many Kenyans watched in utter disbelief.
We all believe that only genuine dialogue and reconciliation can build the trust required for all Kenyans to come together and live in lasting peace, stability, and prosperity. Thank you very much.
It all looks like the former UN Secretary General had indeed banged heads together in this his high-stakes mission as mediator, persuading Odinga and Kibaki to put Kenya's national interests above their personal political vendetta. There's been too much blood spilled.
I said in the past that we are ready to walk the extra mile if that will enable Kenyans to get peace. But today, you have taken the first vital steps in resolving the electoral disputes and conflicts that has ravaged this country for nearly a month now.
After being sworn in as your duly elected President of Kenya, I will personally lead our country in progress.
Now, can you tell this committee your financial net worth?
President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga have, for the first time, opened up about the secret moments and meeting that led to the now famous handshake. In a rather hilarious revelation, President Kenyatta described in detail how the long and tense first meeting between him and Odinga went down. Edmund Nyabola recounts how much tea the two leaders gulped to get into the mood.
In the wake of the 2017 elections, the country found itself on the edge of precipice.
I, Uhuru Kenyatta.
President Kenyatta had taken oath of office for a second term. And so had Odinga as the people's president in a mock ceremony. The opposing sides antagonized at every turn, with drums of war beating all across the country. Every pair of eyes was trained on Kenyatta and Odinga.
But I'm happy to confirm that we have had consultations, and after extensive consultations, we have agreed that a dialogue is the way forward out of the crisis that we're having today in our country. We've agreed that we give people an opportunity to be heard, to express themselves, to come out with the grievances which are actually ailing our country today, so that a lasting solution can be found. Because of restrictions of resources or limitation of resources, we've agreed that everybody else will bear their cost of coming to this meeting. But we want it to be a really very engaging conversation on the way forward, so that we deal with fundamental issues that are affecting our society today. But I'm happy to
tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu, tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Sisi sote wananchi tushangilie.
yetu, kweli yapendeza, kweli yavutia. Tunajivunia Kenya nchi yetu, kweli yapendeza, kweli yavutia. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu. Ziwa la Victoria linaunganisha Kenya na Uganda, Kenya na Tanzania. Fika Mombasa, mito wa bahari, ogelea maji, jua tamu kuota. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu.
PPMC Production.
Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Twajivunia sana tukijiita wa Kenya, nchi yenye baraka. Kenya nchi yenye baraka. Kenya nchi yenye baraka. Kenya makao yetu ni nchi ya kupendeza, kamwe hatutaiacha. Kamwe Kenya hatutaiacha. Kamwe Kenya hatutaiacha. Mwenzangu,
Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima.
Kenya kipenzi chetu, nchi yenye upendo, hatutaacha Kenya daima.